Hi everyone, Tom Kreager with the Tennessean. Welcome to the Bootleg presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Of course, without their support, we cannot do shows like this. High school football season is over. We'll recap the state championships in just a moment. But special guests, we're going to talk recruiting. Of course, we're about 1 week out from the early recruiting period. Of course, that's December, I think, 18th is the first day, 3-day period. Here with Bill King from the Bill King Show on WNSR. Bill, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Well, let's quick do a recap of the Bulls. I think you were there Friday, but I'm going to go through what happened in Cookeville. If you're a fan of Middle Tennessee high school football, it was not a very good weekend at all. One state champion, we'll get to that. 1-6 from Nashville area schools, and until Ravenwood scored 21, it was looking very bad as far as lopsided scores. Not a lot of points scored by Middle Tennessee teams, but let's start with 1A. We're going to go 1A through 6A, then we'll touch on the Division II schools. 1A, Lake County, 38, Greenback 23 in the 1A final. MVP of that was Tanner Snyder, threw for 266 yards, 2 touchdowns, ran for 138 and scored 2 touchdowns. I believe he also had a pick 6 in that game. Quiet game from Holden Willis, the Mr. Football from Greenback. He sustained an ankle injury, hearing it was an ankle break. Of course, he's getting some recruiting looks as I think UT offered him a preferred walk-on. He's a 3-star kid, receiver there at Greenback. 2A, Peabody 27 to Meigs County 16. Almost an Army beating Navy there in that Jarrell Dixon, the Army commitment, went head-to-head with Aaron Swafford from Meigs County, who's going to Navy. Jarrell Dixon, 155 yards rushing, was the MVP of the 2A game. 1 touchdown scored, 7 tackles on defense. 3A game that really surprised me more than any of them. Alcoa 27, Pearl-Cohn 0. Surprised that Pearl-Cohn could not get on the scoreboard in that game. Cam Burton from Alcoa was the MVP. 8 tackles, 3 for loss, 2 sacks. Of course, the big story for Pearl-Cohn in that game was Martino Owens goes down on the last, I believe it was the last offensive snap for Pearl-Cohn. Of course, the quarterback there dislocates his left ankle and a small fracture there. So our thoughts and prayers are with Martino as he goes through the process of rehabbing. I think he's got a cast on, but everything's looking good. I don't think there was any ligament damage in talking to Coach Tony Brunetti. 4A, Elizabethton 30-6 over Springfield. First state championship for Elizabethton since 1938. That year actually was some sort of invitational, 1 year only type thing they did. So they won that one in 38, and then they bring home the gold ball in 2019. Bryson Rollins, 136 yards rushing, 1 touchdown, 105 yards passing, and 1 touchdown. Of course, they're coached by Sean Witten, who today was named the Titans Coach of the Year. Congrats to Sean Witten. He is, of course, the younger brother of Jason Witten. Of course, we wrote about, there was going to be a chance where Jason was actually going to be at that game. Cowboys played on Thursday night. Talked to Sean Witten on Monday at the Mr. Football and the press conferences, and he was planning on being it. From what I've heard, he was not able to attend. I don't know if practice came around or what happened there, but I know he wanted to be there, and everything I was told, he was keeping close tabs on that game. 5A, Knoxville Central 30-7 over Summit. Central repeats as state champion. MVP Dakota Falver, 216 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Summit did a great job, I thought, on defense as far as stopping the run. Could not get the offense going in that game. Future looks bright for Summit. A lot of young talent. Of course, the Wade twins are both sophomores. Of course, you've seen those kids play. Destin and Keaton Wade. They're great team there. A lot of good talent there, young talent. Coach Coleman did a great job getting them there for the first time, considering they've only been to the quarterfinals 1 time in school history before this year. 6A game, Maryville 42, Ravenwood 21. Ravenwood had 2 scores late in that game to make it respectable. MVP of that game, Cade Chambers, the quarterback going to Indiana State, 172 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. I think one of those rushing touchdowns came in the last minute of the first half and really kind of put the game away in that one for there. So 6A, we go looking here, we go 0-4. Not a good showing there. Something to work on for the future. Division 2A, first game of the weekend, Davidson Academy 31, USJ 21. GRIFFIN SWINEA 285 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. Of course, he was the MVP. And I mentioned to someone, I think USJ was up at half, and I made a comment to someone, if Davidson doesn't win this, I just had a hunch that it could be a very bad showing for Nashville area teams. They were able to win that game, and they ended up being the only champion of the weekend for Nashville area teams. Division II AA, perhaps the best game of the weekend. Evangelical Christian School 17, CPA 14 scored in the last few minutes of that game. Had a questionable catch there to get down to the 1. ECS did. It looked like the ball hit the ground on the replay. It looked like it touched the ground. It wasn't a catch, but they ruled it a catch, and they scored the go-ahead touchdown the next play. Of course, there's no replay in high school football. In Tennessee, there is some in Alabama, Ohio, and maybe a few other states. Andrew Agapas is the MVP there. 13 tackles, 1 forced fumble there. D2 AAA final game. McCallie 28-7 over NBA. MVP was DeAngelo Hardy, not his cousin Jay. 103 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, 59 yards passing. Great season for CPA and NBA. CPA finishes 7-7. NBA finishes 8-5. And both those teams overachieved. I thought NBA with not wasn't one of their most talented groups, but they really got together after that 1-2 start and played well down the stretch. So now bringing our guest here, Bill King. We're going to talk about recruiting. December 18 is the early signing period. First, what's your thoughts on that? I think we're year 3 of early signing. What's your thoughts on the early signing period?
Well, it depends on who you asked. I don't like it. Mm-hmm. If you are a team that's not going to a bowl game, it's perfectly fine because you don't have anything overlapping. Yeah. You can work on your relationships, get your class. You got 72 hours there to do it. If you're working on a bowl game or the semifinals, it's a big pain in the neck. It overlaps with things you don't want to be doing. Mm-hmm. You'd prefer not to have to do that. You want to concentrate on the postseason. I thought it was unnecessary. The February period was working. The reason why they did it is to get some kids who early on know what they want to do, to get the hassle out of the way. They can go ahead and sign. I understand it. I just think that college football, whether it's the committee concept for the playoffs or whether it's the additional signing period, sometimes makes changes just for the sake of it. Mm-hmm. And I think they've done that in these cases.
It looks like, too, I mean, you get so many of these guys early committing, but you're closing the deals right between now and December 19th. I mean, you're closing those deals, and if you're, like, fighting for I know we had a Gus Malzahn sighting in Middle Tennessee recruiting one of our local kids that committed to Texas A&M. Well, he's trying to steal one late. If some of these guys got other things they're worried about right now than trying to steal guys, and they got bowl games and everything else. Yeah,
and again, we have a good time with it. We have a big party called Commitmas.
Yes.
That's around the early signing period, so we take advantage of it. Mm-hmm. And again, for the ones who want to eliminate the hassle, but you know what? If you're going to do that, why not do it July 1st?
Yeah.
If you know that early, some people know early, some people don't. The other problem is the rare occasion where, let's say, maybe a guy gets fired late December.
Yes.
What do you do?
Yes.
So there's a lot of little loopholes, unintended consequences every time you make these moves.
Well, let's be honest. We talked about it off air, and you got Willie Taggart, who was fired during the season. You got Matt Luke. I mean, all of a sudden, what are they going to do for early signing period when those coaches are just brought in?
Yeah. Now, in the case of Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin is a off-the-chart recruiter.
Yeah.
So if anybody can come in with 2 weeks and actually save and create relationships, he's the guy that probably can do it. Not everybody can sell water to fish. Yeah. He can do it. He's that good. Mike Norville, not the dynamic personality that Kiffin is, but a very good coach. I think he'll eventually get that thing going at Florida State. The one I don't get is Sam Pittman to Arkansas. Makes no sense at all.
Yeah, and they've had some time working on that one.
And then Coach Drinkwitz, who did a very good job at Appy State. I don't get the Missouri hire either. So,
okay. We're going to talk about some of our local in-state guys. Reggie Grimes, Thanksgiving Day, commits to Oklahoma. By all intents and purposes, to me, Oklahoma comes on really late in the game. Really late in the game. I think, and from what he kind of talked, he wanted to go down with a visit with Keyshawn Lawrence. Keyshawn was going down there, they're buddies, and want to go down there, and he basically says, "Hey, I'd like to come down for a visit." And that's from what he said. That's kind of how it kind of worked. The visit worked out. But Oklahoma, of course, you got a team in Oklahoma's going to go to the playoffs about every other year or every year. Well, how good a fit is that for him?
Well, here's what I think he is. I think he's a pass-catching, not inline blocking, pass-catching tight end.
Okay.
He reminds me of Bryson Hopkins. Played at Innsworth all these years at Purdue. I had Bryson in 8th grade baseball. I saw him when he was literally 10. And he didn't play football till late, which is fine for football. But I think he's a receiving tight end who can be a threat because he's athletic, he's long, and he can run. That's what I don't know what Oklahoma has planned. That's what I see.
Jay Hardy, everyone thought he was going to go to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Pulled the trigger and surprised everyone, went to Auburn. How big a surprise was that? And, I mean, my understanding from sources I have that Tennessee thought they had him.
Yeah. There's several defensive linemen around here that Tennessee wanted and didn't get. They're going to have a good year. They got a big Memphian last night committed. But that was a surprise. And Auburn going in there to get him, Tennessee thought they probably would get him. And he'll be a good fit at Auburn. I don't know if he's the kind of guy who plays immediately. They are losing a fantastic pro defensive line. Yeah. Most of them. Derek Brown, the leader of that group, Marlon Davidson, etc. But maybe a red shirt and then gets to play that red shirt freshman year.
Yeah, and you mentioned losing some guys. I mean, I think they were high on Trayvon Ripka that went to Kentucky. I think they were up on Dallas Walker, I think, a little bit.
Right. The kid out of Shelbyville.
Yeah, Gary Smith.
Yeah, Gary Smith is another one. I can tell Kentucky wanted him. They couldn't get him to visit. Yeah. Kentucky got the kid out of Dixon. There's a lot of – I tell you, Middle Tennessee, 10 years ago and then prior forever, was constantly underachieving in players. Yeah. We'd have a player here or there, but we didn't have the volume. Exactly. Some of that would be the population influx. That's obvious. But it's not the case anymore. This is in Middle Tennessee in particular is where it's happening. Yeah. All these people moving in here, all these schools popping up, and it's leading to this advancement of players. And another thing back to the playoffs, Maryville wins, Knoxville Central wins, Alcoa wins. It's amazing. Now, I know they don't have the district limitations, so there's reasons here. But the better players, prospects are here.
Yes, exactly.
So it's kind of an interesting little dichotomy there.
They're here and they're at Catholic,
right?
And they're at Whitehaven,
right?
You know, basically where they are.
But again, those schools have a big advantage in Blount County because you can drive across district county lines and go to school there, and you want to win. Yeah. If I've got Johnny 5-star and he can go play for Maryville and get him 3 rings, I might do the same.
Yeah. So it's interesting dynamic there. Well, let's look at UT's in-state class. It's growing. We've got Tyler Barron is everyone. All signs are that he'll go to Tennessee. He hasn't pulled the trigger yet. He's going to wait till signing day. And Jabari Small is going to commit today. At this point, we are shaping this ahead of time. At some point today, he's going to he's going to announce his commitment. All signs there is probably Tennessee as well. Correct. Tennessee, and a couple other schools. I think A&M and Auburn. I think are where he's looking at. But at the current commitment list, you've got Keyshawn Lawrence at Ainsworth, Omari Thomas, Briarcrest, Cooper Mays, Catholic, Martavius French, Bryson Eason, Tamari McDonald, all from Whitehaven. It's the trio of linebackers. T. Hodge at Maryville and Darian Williamson at Haywood. Of course, he had a torn ACL during the season, so he didn't see the end of the season. In a year after, I think last year, I thought Jeremy really took some critics really went after his ability to get in-state kids. I'm under the impression from my sources was that he liked the 2020 class a lot more than the 2019 class. What do you think about this 2020 in-state class that he's been able to put together? And he picked up Omari Thomas, who's the number 4 recruit in the state, due to according to 247 Sports Composite, which is what we look at. And a lot of people tell me he might be the best player in the state.
Yeah, a big, wide-body defensive lineman, and they're still not deep at any position. Yeah. It doesn't matter what position. Tennessee's got a roster that is imbalanced, and that's where these recruiting classes have to take over, and they have to stick, too. Yeah. You got to have continuity there, and you have to be developed and all that. I tell you, the guy that's really intriguing, and you mentioned a whole bunch of linemen, which is vital, is T. Hodge.
Yeah.
He is a 200. They list him at 230. He's a big downhill back who's pretty athletic.
Yeah.
I think a little underrated outside of our state. I think if he happened to be in a Georgia or a Texas, maybe he'd get a little bit more notoriety. Everybody knows him, but I think he may have an extra star. I think he's going to be a big physical back for the Vols.
My question on T, and I love T. Hodge. I mean, I've seen him the last few years. He got a lot bigger in the offseason. I'm afraid now that maybe is he too big?
Yeah.
Because they were talking about, hey, could he get bigger? If he gets bigger, he's gonna be a fullback.
Right.
I mean, I'm wondering, do you slim him down a few pounds and just get him a little more speed? Because probably the speed, he's not the fast. He's not an Eric Gray fast.
Not on that level.
Not on that level. That's probably the big thing. It hurts him.
Right.
But he's still got speed. I saw it Friday night or Saturday night. I mean, he's got speed. I'm fearful if he does not need to be getting any bigger and be a running back.
Well, and the thing about it is, God bless the fullback, but that's a position that's not getting a lot of love. Yeah. Unless you're Iowa or Wisconsin, then that's perfect. Yeah. But very people run that anymore. So
the night when we had the 3 linebackers at Whitehaven all commit same day, boom, boom, boom. It was phenomenal how they put it all together. Like number 1, number 2, number 3. They went in that order. Have you ever seen a time, Tennessee or anyone, where a school would get 3 commitments from the same school on the same night?
Well, not the same night. I've seen schools, Washington County in Georgia, when they had Tequila Spikes, had a bunch of players. Yeah. And but they all went wherever they were going to go. You'll have a Florida town where one team will have 11 big D1. Yeah. But the same night, the same team, usually not. You know, because think about it. This is your time. I want my time to make my announcement on my own. Yeah. Share it with a bunch of other guys. You may be teammates, but usually there's some selfishness there. Yeah, and from my understanding is they did not get Tennessee did not know they were getting all 3 that night. They thought maybe 1 or 2, and they thought they were getting French, but I didn't think they were getting the other 2 that same day. Jabari Small, they're already getting Hodge. The Jabari Small could be, he was committed to Ole Miss, decommitted. If they get him, that's a piece of the puzzle that it's very intriguing to get two local running backs, and I think him and Hodge are probably different runners. I think Small's a little bit smaller, no pun intended, but I think that gives them a little more speed guy there too. Yeah, in-state running backs, and the state of Tennessee, Reggie Cobb, we've had some good running backs. Keith Davis here locally at Overton, we've had some good ones, but a lot of times they'll get their running backs from other places, Jamal Lewis, Georgia, etc. And Jay Graham, Charlotte, North Carolina. That would be a nice addition for them. Ole Miss has got, right now, one of the best freshman running backs in America in Jerrion Ely, who had a really good freshman year. He's also a baseball player, a big time. Matter of fact, his future is baseball. But he's a super running back, and they're in pretty good shape there right now, if indeed it's Tennessee. Yeah. All right, so right now they've got 7 in-state guys, all of them the top 27 in the state. When you look at what happened a year ago with him really not getting much at all, the Lampley kid was probably one of the most notable ones. Eric Gray, I guess you throw Eric Gray in there too. Eric would be the most notable one. But you got to think after a year, all the grief, you got to think Jeremy really, he's won the state. And if he gets the last 2 pieces in Tyler Barron and Jabari Small, it's hands down. I mean, he's got a stronghold on the state. Yeah, you might lose a Reggie Grimes, a Jay Hardy, and a couple other ones, but you got to be very, very happy with where you're at if you're a Tennessee fan. Yeah, and going back to last year, I don't think Jeremy Pruitt is we've got to have Tennessee. Now you want to get the best players, but that scoreboard doesn't tell you where everybody's state is. Yeah, exactly. So he's a Georgia guy. Even though he's from Alabama, coached at Georgia too, coached at Florida State, coached at Hoover. He's a Georgia guy. Exactly. And he is going to be down there always getting players. And there's so many. Georgia, forever it was California, Texas, Florida. It's no. It's a Big Four. It's been that way for about 5 to 10 years now. Georgia is with those other states, and he's got a lot of connections down there to get ball players. Saban's a big Georgia guy, too. Loves that place.
If best one of that bunch is Omari the best player in the bunch going?
Probably so. And the other reason would be
Do they need that position?
defensive line is a commodity.
Mm-hmm.
You could say they're all important. They are. Every little piece on the chessboard is important, but a big physical, can eat up space, twitchy defensive lineman, they're still hard to come by. They're more readily available than 20 years ago. I remember 20 years ago talking to staffs, couldn't find one sometimes. They're a lot more readily available now. That guy who's 6'4", 290, who also has feet.
Yeah.
That guy was always put back to the offensive line. Now they can play defensive line, and I think since that's a commodity, that's big. And they don't have a lot of numbers there.
We talked a little bit about early signing period.
Yeah.
You know, from a number standpoint, looking at who's reading stories, it looks like the late signing period is just kind of like it's kind of like who's if you got someone like your Ole Miss, your Arkansas that have to have big comebacks, it's great for them. But for most people, this is really the big signing day.
This is taken February. It's always the first Wednesday, so let's just say February 3rd. I haven't looked at the date. It's taken that date and made it not irrelevant, but it's a buzzkill. Yeah. It's not as fun. That used to be the day where everybody, it was a crescendo right after Christmas. A lot of the big visits were January's, those Saturdays in January leading up, and there was a lot at stake there. That's gone.
Yeah. Tell me about your show, what you're going to do special for signing day.
Well, the show is every Monday through Friday, WNSR, 6 until 9 Central, streamed everywhere, listened to everywhere. And on signing day, the 18th, we do our show from the Omni, 5-hour show, 6 until 11, in bar lines. We'll absolutely have a huge breakfast buffet. You're invited for free. And it's the Kitchen Notes breakfast buffet. It is nice, and anybody you want to bring's invited, and we sit there. Fans come in from all over the country, and we sit there and we talk about what's happening that day.
And what's happening is the biggest. I mean, you're going to get people from maybe get some Ole Miss fans. You're going to get some Tennessee fans. It's whatever the topic of the day. And I guess the big thing is, I mean, we talked about Lane Kiffin. Can Lane Kiffin steal a couple kids? Like, should Jeremy be concerned that he could lose a kid?
I don't know about to Tennessee, but you got to remember he took the Tennessee job and turned the number one player in America, Bryce Brown, to Tennessee. They were not on the list. He did some phenomenal things, so I wouldn't count that guy out of anything.
So he'd be the one, probably the one new coach you just look at and see is he gonna flip someone late? Is there anyone from what your sources are? Is there anything out there that a team to look at late as we hit the last few weeks or last few days, I guess?
Well, a lot of the hay's in the barn right now.
Yeah.
I tell you who's hot, and this is Captain Obvious, but LSU.
Yeah.
I mean, they are getting it, man, and they're having one of their best classes ever. Clemson, now they've got 2 of the last 3 national championships. They're saying this is our best class we're about to sign.
Yeah.
Now put that in perspective.
Yeah. And it could be bar none the best class. I think it's really the best class in America.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy what they've been able to do. Georgia, they lose their offensive line coach to Arkansas, Sam Pittman, the head coach. If you're a lineman from, I guess they hired Matt Luke as the offensive line coach. Is that a good recovery? And if you're a lineman that's committed to Georgia, are those coaches concerned that they may go elsewhere?
Well, Sam Pittman is 2 things. He's not going to be a good head coach at Arkansas, but he's one of the best offensive line coaches in America, and he's A-list offensive line recruiter. I second to none. That hurts. I mean, you can't just replace that. Now, Georgia's still super attractive in general. They're also perhaps going to lose Dan Lanning, who's got the Memphis connections and might be hired down at Florida State to be the defensive coordinator. So they may lose a couple, but you know what? That's normal.
Yeah.
If you're good, you lose people.
Talk to Saban about that.
Right.
He's used to that.
Right.
Has that been? You think how big a hurt has that been for Saban losing? Because you've lost him so many years in a row.
It's 13 the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And Saban also has made a couple of mistakes. Pete Golding, who he elevated as his defensive coordinator, was not a good idea. This was their worst defense, and goodness knows when. They had lots of problems. They've still got staff issues there that he is going to have to take care of. There's going to be some more moves. Now, I don't know if it will equate the average of, 6.5 the last 2 years. They're going to make some more moves because he's got some dead weight on that staff, particularly defensively. He's not happy.
When do you start looking at 2021?
I think what everybody does, I start looking all the way down to the freshman year. Now, I don't obsess over it because things come and go, right?
Yeah.
But if there's just, for example, I'm a Williamson County guy, so I'm going to be biased here. I put a lot of coaches on Fisher Anderson. He's a sophomore at Franklin. Yep. I knew him when he was 10. He's 6'6", 270 now. Yes. He's going to be 6'7", 320. Yeah. The Twins. I started contacting people about the Twins at Summit last year. You've got, here's the way I describe it. You've got not one, but at quarterback and running back, you have 2 Juwan Jennings.
Yes.
They're also fantastic basketball players. Their future is football, but that explains their athleticism. Yeah. You like the guys that do the different things. And there's lots of players. Running back at Brentwood Academy, outstanding. There's lots of them around here. I start looking at that stuff, but again, I don't
obsessed with it.
I don't try and get the list or anything.
All right, guys. Of course, you've been watching the Bootleg presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. We are working on a signing day special. It would be in the afternoon. Like last year, we brought in several of our Dandy Dozen top recruits. We're going to start efforting to get those guys committed to be Wednesday afternoon. If not, we may have to look at Thursday. Some other things going on. But pay attention on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at Kreager, and we'll announce them as we go. He's Bill King, legend on WNSR. If you want to know recruiting, listen to his show. And again, you've been watching the Bootleg presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. We'll see you soon on signing day.